Okay, welcome back everyone. Thanks for tuning in here again. Working on a new project. It's the first time I've been out in the shop in a couple weeks. It's finally in the 30s instead of 2 degrees outside. So I wanted to kind of take the opportunity to get out here and see how long I can stick it out today. What I'm working on today is I'm hoping to get 3 boards out of this, out of what I'm working on today. I'm thinking I can only get 2 out of the material I'm showing you right now. What I'm working on is going to be a chevron pattern, and if I do it right, I'll have some photos of it somewhere, and you guys will see what I'm talking about here. So the first one I'm going to work on, or it's actually going to be 2 boards at once here. I'm going to be using the elm and the walnut here to make the chevron boards, or the chevron pattern. And then the third board I'm going to work on simultaneously is going to be cutoffs that I want to have. I'm going to call it in a looser chevron pattern. I'm really hopeful for that one. I think that one can look really nice. This is going to be a lot tighter pattern. There will be a lot more chevrons. I don't know if that's even a real word. There'll be a lot more chevrons in these boards than the other one that I'm talking about here. Throughout the video, if I do it right, I'll have a little icon showing you which boards I'm currently working on in the video. Again, hoping to get 3. Am I actually going to get 3? I have no idea. I've not done something like this before. Doing 3 different, I'll call it 3 different patterns at the same time, so we'll see if I can mentally keep up with it. So stick along. Appreciate you guys always taking the time, and like always, leave comments below, leave a like, dislike, subscribe. Look forward to connecting with you guys as always. Thanks. Okay, now I'm set up to actually start making cuts. On the elm here, I have one edge that's semi straight. I'm gonna have to go with it. I don't have a jointer as much as I would love a jointer, and I don't have a track for my circular saw again as much as I would love to have it. It's just something I have not purchased yet. So I'm going to try to clean up the far edge of this elm here, treating this rough sawn edge as a straight edge, again knowing it's not. I hope I don't pay for it later. But what I'm going to do then is I'm going to clean that edge up. The edges on the walnut is clean already. And then next step is going to be to figure out how wide I want to cut my strips. I'm going to do, I think, 36-inch strips, which will allow me to double up on the elm and then double up on one of these walnut pieces here. And then what I'll do then is I'll cut them up and then start kind of laying them out to see how I want it. Do I want walnuts on the end? Do I want elm on the end? And then how many strips do I have to work with? Yeah, so that's gonna be next steps here. So I'm gonna get to it. Okay, so the internal debate I'm having now is, do I want to use top grain or side grain for the chevron pattern? I'm thinking I'm going to use top grain here. I've not done that before. I've always done side grain. When it comes to these chevrons, I've done some in the past. I'll put a photo of one right here if I can do it properly. but I think on this one I want to do top grain. So I think the thickness I'm going to do on this is going to be a. I have to do side grain. Okay, I have to do side grain. So as I'm thinking through this here, because I want my board inevitably to be 1.5 inches thick. This board is exactly 1.5 inches thick. I know I'm gonna have to do some planing and cleanup and sanding all that later, and it's definitely gonna take it down below that 1.5 inches. So what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna cut the width of these strips is going to be probably 1 inch and maybe 6/8, or well, I guess 1 3/4 inches, maybe a little bit less than that. Cut those, turn those up on side, because that width that I cut is now going to become the height of my board. And I want it to be over 1.5 inches, knowing that I can plane it down or size it down to that final 1.5 inches thick. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set the fence at that height that I want this board to be finished at, or over that, knowing I'm going to mill down to it. And I'm going to start cutting my strips. After strips, it's then time for not time for glue up. I'm gonna have to plane. I want to plane everything, just make sure everything is the same dimensionally, and just make sure when I glue everything together, those seams are as clean and crisp to one another as possible. In the past, I haven't done that, and that really came back and bit me in the butt. So I'm going to set my width on the cut, plane it, and then from planing, I'm going to show you the layout of how I'm going to glue it up. I'm not going to glue it up on camera because I'm doing my glue ups inside. It's still too cold outside. I think you can see my breath there. The wood glue does not like the cold like this, so I'll do the glue up inside, but I'll do the layout here on the table for you, just for you to see what it's gonna look like. So I'm gonna get to that, and then I'm also going to mark the ends of my board as well on all of them, just so when I'm planing things, my pencil marks, I will be keeping everything even that way as well. Okay, so I've got the one board of the elm and walnut downstairs being glued up right now. While that is drying, I'm gonna let it dry a day or two here, just because the work week starts tomorrow and getting away gets to be difficult, blah, blah, blah. But what I wanna do while I still have a little bit of time tonight is get the second Chevron board lined up, or at least want to start figuring it out a little bit. I have not done this type of chevron before. I'm going to call this a looser chevron than what I was doing with the elm and the walnut, where it'll be a lot smaller pieces. What I'm going to do with this one is, let me draw it for you. Okay, so that's going to be 12 by 16. And I want to go with that type of pattern. Again, it's rough, obviously, because I just doodled it real quick. But I've got a bunch of cutoffs, all various different species. I think it could be a pretty nice touch. It should look good together. So I've got some walnut, some cherry, some maple. I might have some more exotics over there. I've got some wenge, which I might throw in here as well. Hoping I have some Paduke as well. I don't know if I have any long enough, and that might be my problem. But I'm gonna have various widths on all of it, and just hoping I can get a good height out of it. I'm shooting for maybe just an inch thick on this, just because of the various heights and widths I have on all of these pieces. So this is the first time I've ever done this, so a lot of this is just gonna be me kind of muddling my way through it like I do with everything else. But we'll see what comes of it. That's all I can do. Okay, so real happy with how everything is going right now. Got the really nice glue up happening downstairs right now. I've got a lot of different species of wood cut out here. So I've got, looks like maple, purple heart for some accent, a whole bunch of walnut, cherry, more walnut, even more cherry, and then some of the cool stuff here. So I got elm here, more walnut, and then more of the wenge here. So we got a really nice pattern of colors here. I don't know if I want to go to the Paduke as much as I love this color. I don't know if it's going to visually go with the colors that I have here. I think it may just stand out too much. The purple heart is dark. It just has that kind of hue in it. It's really, really thin, so I'm okay with that for now. So I might scrap the Paduke, but I'm going to hold off for now, see how this all goes first before I fully commit to anything. But like I said, for where I'm at right now, for how this is all coming along, super happy. I'm going to shut it down for now, and then I'll get back at this weather permit. Goal for today, depending on how long I can stand this weather, is I want to cut everything to a little bit taller than 1 inch, and just like 1 1/8 type of height. And then I will start putting the chamfers on, or the bevels, or whatever you want to call it, to create the 45s, to create my 90, and then from there start stacking them onto the plywood just to see if I have enough material. I'm not convinced I have enough material yet, but that's gonna be next step. So I'm gonna get the table saw set up. I'm gonna push the miter saw out of the way, and start getting everything down to at least to the final height, and then I will start playing with the 45s on it. So that's the plan going forward. Okay, so I've got the pattern laid out. I think I have enough wood here. If not, I've got extras laying over here that I can pull from. Next step here is to set the miter saw at 45 degrees, and then just start working my way down. So you can see some of these I don't have to worry about because this is going to be up in a corner anyways. But it's this row and this section of material that I've got to get all of these down to 45. So I'm going to try to keep everything in pairs. Because I have it laid out. I actually am happy with the colors and the way everything looks here right now. So yeah, I'm just start putting those 45s on there. And then it's going to come down to how the heck am I going to glue all this to have it all sit together smoothly. So that's what I got to figure out still at the moment. So I'm super happy with this. This is exactly how I envisioned this coming out. I'll give you kind of a quick flyby preview here, knowing that there's 2 sets of cherry that I have to run through the table saw again just to make sure thicknesses are the same, because the bevels aren't lining up nicely, and that's just because one piece is, you know, like an eighth of an inch thicker than the other one. So I'll just run that through, clean that up, and then it should even out nice and smoothly here. So I'll show you what I'm looking at here. Yeah, I just really love the maple to the cherry to the Padauk. This might be my favorite little section here, and then just that little hint of purple here. So I'm super happy with how this has turned out. Like I said, my next concern is going to be coming up a way to clamp all this, glue it, clamp all of it. So I think I'm going to put some 45 triangles like here and then here, and then leave the center open here, and then I could squeeze everything, and hopefully it'll force it closed as well. If not, I think the next best option then is going to be, I'm going to call it the blue tape method, where I run a piece of tape around the edge of each one of these, glue them independently to set that 90 degree. And then when that's set, then glue everything and squeeze everything together. Ultimately, that's the one screaming in the back of my head that makes the most sense. But I do want to try to put something here and create a fixture or a jig for it. So if I do something like this in the future, I will know if it does or doesn't work. So we'll see. But first off, I got to clean this one up. And you can see the mismatch here. And then I have the same thing back here on the cherry, and it's just a simple set the table saw to the width of this one, run that one through that, set the table saw to the width of this one through it, and then run that one through it, and it should be nice and clean after that. So that's what I'm gonna set up next. Okay, so that got a little hairy during glue up. That's why I didn't turn the camera on. It's the first time doing this. Wasn't sure how I was going to attack it, and I didn't want to have to worry about camera and then worry about what I was doing here. Wanted to just focus on the glue up and getting everything set here. I think I've got everything set the way I want it set, so I'll show you here. That's actually the other Chevron board dried up now, and I actually got a brick pattern one going in the background here. But so this is what I have going right now. I figured out probably about the second time I started doing glue up to leave an inside one longer than the outside one. Allows the pressure and everything to go even out all the way through. Between each color of wood, I have tape on the end of it, so each of these are all still independent from one another. Just wanted to get this seam set, and then once this dries, I'll take it all apart, or take all the tape apart, make sure all these individual pieces come apart, and then the next step will then be start running the glue between all the seams of the various species of wood here. Then I'll have one solid board, and then at that point it'll be, you know, chopping down and getting the final size I want. So again, I'm shooting for a 12 by 16, and then going for an inch thick here. So I'm gonna let all of this sit tonight. I'm gonna try to get this stuff flat, just because that makes the most sense. And all we can do is get back at it. But the blue tape seemed to work real nice. I got nice tight seams here. This doesn't look like it just because it's at different angles, but once this all comes together and run it through the planer, this should all be nice and clean. So real happy with how this is turning out right now. Okay, so I brought the boards back in, or we're back in the shop here. They glued up. They glued up real nicely. I'm real happy with this big one. And at the same time, I have the other board going with the cutoffs here. The reason this is back in clamps is I wanted to get the main body of this glued up like I did. And then I drew out my pencil marks here, knowing that I had to add on some pieces to the corner here. I wanted to see how much I would have to add. So that's why these 3 pieces or 6 pieces are gluing up on these corners here. So while this is drying up, I'm going to come to the big board here. I'm going to set my cut angle on the other board. So let me get this out of the way. Good. So I'm going to come with this one here. I'm going to set my angle on here for my first cut. I'm going to use my circular saw to knock these off so I have a nice clean edge here to run up on the fence on the table saw. So a lot of this, I'm going to start with 60 degrees, mark it out and see if I like that angle. I might go shallower, I might go deeper, I don't know. It's going to be just visually what do I want it to look like. So that's next steps here with this big one. Okay, so that came out really well. I guess I'm not really going to know how well it came out until I actually put everything together. But the cutting, everything went really smoothly, so I'm real happy with how that went. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek here of the pattern and see what we're working with. That's going to be the pattern. What I'm going to do real quick as well is I'm going to get clamps out, squeeze it all together, make sure everything lines up neatly and nicely. If it does, what I will then do is do my pencil strike mark across, so I know when I'm doing glue up what has to match. But visually, the way this all looks right now, I'm super happy. I've done chevrons in the past, and my first blush impression on this is I've never had chevrons come out as clean as this. Might be putting my skis before the cart or whatever the phrase is, but it looks good. I'm happy with it. Cart before the horse. Okay, so we're in from our last glue up. I'm happy with how everything looks. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 boards I got to plane today. I'll see if I want to get saucy and do some sanding today. It is currently 18 degrees in here, so we'll see. So here's 2 of the smaller ones here. So it's 8-inch by 12-inch. Well, it's a little bit more on both those dimensions, but that'll be final dimensions. So same thing here. This one reminds me of the I don't know what it's called, but from the movies when they start the movie. That's what that one reminds me of. I've got this one as well. This guy, and then this one. This one is my thinnest, so I probably will save this one for last. Otherwise, everything else I think is dimensionally roughly the same. So Once I get it set for the height of one, all of the other ones should fall in line pretty quickly, and then when I'm done with those, I'll come to this one last. So I'm going to set this off to the side. Okay, so everything planed really well. Real happy with the look of everything. The only one I'm borderline upset with is this one. The piece of cherry up here in the corner, when I glued it up, I didn't glue it tall enough. I just rotated the wrong way. So instead of it being at about 1 inch thick, I'm at about 3/4 of an inch. So I lost 1/4 of an inch of material because I rotated this the wrong way. So it cost me. This will probably be one that I keep at home and use. I don't actually have my own wood cutting board that I've made for myself, so I might just keep this one. We'll see. I'm really happy with it though. It looks really cool. I just like to have that thicker board feel than this, but still happy with this. The design on this is really, really something else. So next steps here, I'm gonna line them all up on the table here, and start with 80 grit and take everything up through 320 is what I want to finish on, but I'm gonna take it up to 220 on both sides. At 220, I will then take it inside, do the water pop, raise the grain, and then let those all dry out naturally, and then come back in the next day or two and sand those the grain or the fuzzies off, and then go back up to 320, and then it'll be oil and then wax time. So that'll be the next couple days here, but for now it's just sand for 1 billion years. So that's next steps.